Superstar. Oh.
Hello and welcome back to Tatum University. It's a love story. And as always, I'm here with my lovely co-host, the Dr. AD, and also known as Tanky, and my wife. How you doing, Tanka?
I'm good, Tank Tank.
All right. Well, we are back with more content. We told y'all we'll be back. We're back with more content. And actually, this is actually a continuation of our previous um, topic. What was our last topic? Tips on dating to marry. So if you guys missed that, I'm gonna leave the link to that specific video in the description area so you guys can uh, catch up. But to those who are just chiming in, welcome to Tatum University. It's a love story, and we're excited about this. Let me say this up front. This is a platform that we use to give back. I myself haven't been in that many relationships, but I have a little bit of experience, and I'm just giving back. And also, my wife, you know, with her experience as well. And we're just trying to combine the two and give you all just a good conversation and some tips and implement that you might be able to implement some things in your relationship that it can be better and not bitter. So,
And remember that it's not just romantical relationships. It's all relationships. Relationships with parents, friends, relationships with loved ones, like work relationships, just all areas of relationships.
Okay. All right.
I just thought add that in there.
All right.
Period.
Our topic for today is going to be signs that he or she wants to get married. Oh, this is a big one because sometimes y'all see the signs that they don't that particular he or she don't want to get married, but y'all want to continue to enforce your own ideology on someone who may potentially is not ready for marriage. So you just have to be careful with it. But we're going to give y'all some tips and also some signs that you can use to implement when you're in the dating field and you're trying to date and you're looking to date and you're possibly looking to get married. Signs that you can be able to see that he or she wants to be married or they don't want to be bothered at all. So with that one said, our first bullet point, talking about your future together. Yeah. A lot of times in our courting stage, we talk about certain topics. I'm gonna use myself for example. Like when I was in the courting stage, I would be talking about things as far as like, what do you like? Surface stuff. What's your favorite color, or what's your favorite flower, and a whole miss a number of things that I can kind of just go off for. But you know, talking about our future together, there are certain conversations, and often if you can listen to when people talk because they'll tell you about themselves. If someone is talking, if they're not taking out the I when it's supposed to be to us, that's a sign that he or she may not want to be married. Someone who's always talking about me, the three people, me, myself, and I, that may be a sign that they're not really interested or getting to, you know, allow this relationship to go even farther than what you may have expected. So be careful about certain conversations. You always want to make sure that you guys there's a dialogue. Let me say that there's a dialogue about having a future together and not just someone talking about me or my or I. Because those things can leave people confused and often, and let me say this, and often y'all can be on two different pages, but one of the two may not know that you guys are on different pages. So it is so important to address that up front when you're talking about having a future together. Make sure that you're being intentional about the us. See, because ultimately, when you are looking to date someone, what you're actually saying that I'm ready to trade in my I for us, and it's so important to keep that in your forefront. Doctor, give us
Hmm.
some. Why was me? Because our bullet point is basically talking about a future together. Why is it so important for us to make sure that uh, when we're trying to meet our person and we may
Hmm.
have that one individual that we particularly like, why is it important that we talk about having a future together and not just independently talking about things that benefit just one side of the party?
Well, I mean, clearly you're in a relationship, so clearly you really shouldn't just be talking about benefiting one side of the party. You're clearly committed yourself into a relationship, adding someone else to your life. So that person is now a part of your life. You're now a part of that person's life. You guys are sharing things. Nowadays, um, people get in relationships and they just move in with each other. So now you're sharing financial bills and things of that nature. So there is no more I. I mean, for me, I would say common sense, but I guess it's not common to me. It's common sense that you are removing you because you now have implemented a whole nother human into your everyday activity, your everyday life.
Okay. Well, thank you for that
You're welcome.
that insight, doctor. Yeah, and just to add on to what my wife has already shared with you all, you know, uh, we definitely have to monitor the conversation. Make sure that the conversation is about us and not I, and that'll keep you uh, with a focus to being intentional about, you know, if you want to move on while you're in the dating from dating to marriage.
Hmm.
Our second bullet point is setting deadlines and being direct about their expectations. It's so important. One examples that I like to use, like when I met my wife, like both of us desired marriage. So that was
Hmm.
one of the things that we talked about. That's one of the things that we was very direct with, and also uh, we uh, we uh, we set a time. When was this? We set a deadline. Like us, we wanted to be married within the year. And actually, kind of just to round it out, it was really around about um, what about a year?
A little less than a
Well, put it
year.
like this: I proposed to my wife within like 6 months, and then we got
Dating, proposal, and marriage
within 6 months.
all was within, I would say, like the process of a year.
Yeah.
The process of a year.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we got married in September. You proposed in October. I moved I moved to Florida with us dating in May.
Okay. So let me clear up what she's saying. Me and my wife, we met in March.
Yes.
She moved to Florida in
Yeah.
May.
Yes.
I proposed to her in October.
Yes.
We got married the following year, September.
September. Yes.
So that's our timeline to
Yes.
marriage. Um, and yeah, just to add on, you know, that's something that we talked about. That's something that we looked forward to. It was a conversation that it wasn't a conversation that was difficult to talk about because we wanted that for each other. And it was just so easy to be able to have those conversations and really go into in depth on, because she was basically uprooting her life and coming to a whole different state. So that was the uniqueness of it, and we really had to address a lot of stuff, even jobs, or
Mhm.
and her just specifically finding a location down here. So it ultimately worked out because
Yep.
we here.
Yep.
But yeah, what are you thinking about us making sure setting deadlines and being direct about expectations?
I think that's very important, and I think it's key because speaking for women, right? African American women. Um, and let me say this before the internet try to get me, because I see I be on YouTube and I see how y'all be coming for people. I see, and I don't want y'all coming for me like that. But with black women, African American women, we tend to be like one day, and there's no deadline or expectation, right? So you become Nicholas' baby mother for the fifth child, and yet you want to be his wife, but yet because you never set boundaries of deadlines and discussed expectations, he has no boundaries with you, and he has no expectation or a deadline to make you his wife because he already has the ultimate desire of his within you already. So I think it's really key for even men, um, but for you guys to set deadlines and to say, "Hey, this is something that I'm seeking. Is this something that you are seeking in the near future?" Because understand, people may not want it at that moment, right? And then the process of you guys talking, that person might grow to want marriage because it's just something particular with you, right? And then you say, hey, I within the time frame of dating, I really want to actively, strongly be dating someone for 6 months. And then I want to actively, strongly, like, be engaged for 6 months. And then I want to actively move towards marriage and the wedding within those 6 months. Like, because people get engaged, and I see this all the time, right? And I have a couple of friends that are engaged, and they literally got engaged 2 years before I did, and they're still engaged. So sometimes certain men feel like that's the gatekeeper to holding you, because you never expressed what you was thinking in your head as far as deadlines and a boundary.
Okay. And we can't stress that enough. Let me say this to everybody who watching: don't get in relationships where people um, miss. Uh, I want to say people don't put emphasis on your expectations and what you really want for the relationship. And just like my wife just shared, it is so many people that they talk about this stuff, but they get into the relationship and those conversations are put on the back end. And then
Mm-hmm.
you are left just going through the motion, and you never actually have that conversation, or you never got comfortable enough to have that conversation where you can say, hey, before I got into this relationship, I was seeking marriage. Now it just seems like y'all on the merry-go-round or that hamster
Mm-hmm.
wheel, and it's easy to get in put in that position. So you all make sure you do follow-ups when you are dating people. Like, hey, I know we have to, even if it may have been a while. Hey, sit down, have a conversation. Hey, I know it's been a while since we talked about this particular subject, but this has been on my mind, my heart, and I really want to let you know my intentions for this relationship in order for us to move forward. And just explain to him or her what that means,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that you guys are always walking in agreement. Our third bullet point, talking about wedding plans. Woo! Listen, this is a good one right here because listen, me and my wife, my wife was looking for her ring. I'm gonna tell you right now. Hey, I knew it too. I knew. I knew it too. So I had already been planning because, like I shared with y'all, I had wanted to actually, get married within the year. We wind up getting engaged from May to what, October. So
Mhm.
it's like what, 4 months?
Mhm.
Yeah, that was 5 months. We got engaged. So, and I was happy with that first goal that I set for this relationship. We got engaged. There was something that we can clap about, something we can
Mhm.
shout about, and something we can celebrate.
Mhm.
So me and my wife, we get engaged. Now, what's next? Now I'm gonna be honest with you. For a while, me and my wife, we was really like it was just like nothing. About 2-3 months went by. We weren't talking about no wedding.
It was plateaued, y'all.
Yeah, and before you know it, here come the doctor. Hey guys, hey, hey, when we get married, what's up with this wedding? So I really had to. Okay. She started bringing up
Yes.
those conversations about this wedding, and ultimately, we talk about the wedding, and we was kind of back and forth. Do we want a wedding, or do we just want to go to the courthouse?
We had different ideas.
Yeah, we did.
I wanted to go to the courthouse and I wanted to get married with just your two witnesses and me and my husband. I wanted to save my coins and put my coins back into my bank account. And my husband wanted to spend the coins and he wanted to have a whole wedding, like a whole shebang lang. And we ended up having a very small, intimate wedding. But if it was up to him, we was gonna be at somebody's ballroom with the chandelier. We was gonna be coming out the ceiling, y'all. The smoke was gonna rise. It was gonna be a whole big thing. But meanwhile, I wanted to go to the courthouse, like boom, boom, bam, come out the courthouse, like, hey, we married. You don't gotta go back and fill out no paperwork. We did it all right here. So yeah.
But yeah, it's so important to have those conversations. Um, you're gonna have periods where life is just life, and sometimes those conversations can get combobulated or put on the back burner. But it's really, really important to continue to talk about these things. Make sure they are in conversations. It don't have to be an everyday thing or every week thing, but it should be something that's discussed when you guys have opportunity to really just listen to each other and bring up
Set
things
some
that,
time to
yeah,
actually listen to each other,
yeah, that
like,
too.
and
That's
sit down. Even if you go out to eat
yeah.
and just sit there with your planner, and you could buy him a planner if he doesn't already have one, and y'all sit down and just sketch out what this wedding or what this relationship looks like. Like, what's your 2-year goal? What's your 4-year goal? Like, and just sit with each other and really discuss, because you can get captured in I call it the new car smell, the new relationship smell. And you can get captured in that, and then it can get boring real fast because you're surface dating each other.
Yeah, that's so right. That's so true. All right, I believe we're on our fourth bullet point.
Okay.
Signs that he or she wants to get married. And our fourth bullet point is wanting to meet their family. Now, we all need to approach this with caution. And here's one of the reasons why.
Warning.
Because listen, I love my family, but I don't want to meet everybody in my family. I'm not trying to go back to third and fourth and fifth generation, because listen, some of those people didn't believe in the same values that I believe in. And I know a lot of times, especially in the black culture, what we have a lot of traditions that are basically hand-me-down traditions. And one of the traditions, just to throw something out there, was jump the broom. Me and my wife decided that we weren't jumping no broom. That's something
That
that
wasn't even a conversation. Nah, I'm sorry, y'all.
that wasn't, it wasn't no conversation.
It was okay, it was a conversation. So I'm like, y'all, if you new to this channel, approach with caution. I'm terribly sorry For the people who've been here a while, you already know I keeps it real. So it was a conversation. My aunt brought it up, and I was just so confused when she brought it up because when she got married, there was no broom. So I was just really confused, like why she wanted all like why. First of all, she brought it up, and it was very abrupt, and I was like, jump the broom, like, and I get it, I guess, like they talk about jumping the broom like back in the day in ancestry where they didn't have papers to say they was married, and jumping the broom meant that you was married. And I want to be very honest with everyone here, and what I told her, I never touched slavery. I was never in slavery, and I'm very grateful to people in my family in the past that was in slavery. Like my great grandmother's mom was in slavery. Like I am very grateful to them, but they actually paved the way so that I don't have to jump the broom.
Yeah.
We have papers that says we're married. So the jump in the broom thing wasn't a conversation between me and him. It was other people inputting their wants and desires into our wedding. And yeah, jump in the broom, that was not something I was doing. First of all, my feet is always hurting in a pair of heels. That's number one. So I wasn't jumping anything. During those pictures, I was like, let's get these pictures going because she coming up out these shoes. So jumping the broom, baby, I would have hit that floor. I would have jumped and went straight down. But no, jumping the broom, no.
This is definitely a big one, especially because a lot of times you can get in a relationship and you haven't even met the person's mom or dad, and y'all been talking about marriage, and so there should be a time where you get comfortable enough. Me personally, I wouldn't recommend for anybody who to be really talking about marriage, and he or she haven't met your parents, even met some of your cousins and stuff of that nature. Um, and that's one sign that people can see that they really like you and really want this relationship to really go farther. They introduce you to their family, and a lot of times whether that's through just a cookout or going to dinner, there should be a sign that he or she wants you to meet their family. Have you ever had any just I would say, have you ever encountered a person you was dating but they haven't you know um, you know introduced you to their family? I would.
um I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I guess in the era of me growing up, in my era, you you really, all you had to do was really go to that person's house. Where I'm from Queens, New York. So you was meeting everybody's family. Like the only way you could actually probably date someone back in the days was going to their house and like being at their house. Like where I'm from, there's limit, like not saying it's limited, but it's limited activities in my borough. We would have to travel an hour or two out. Now, as you get older, of course, you travel out or whatever the case may be. My situation, I feel like it's a little different. I feel like I was introduced to too many family members that they could have just held to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely kind of shaped the dynamic of how I seen the relationship because I did have a prior person like try to engage, but when I met certain dynamics of the family, first of all, that wasn't even supposed to be my husband, so I don't even know what was going on there. But anyway, when I met certain dynamics of the family, I didn't even want to date the person anymore, to be really honest with you. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say what my husband is saying is absolutely right. You should meet the family, right? But I feel like be very cautious when introducing your person to certain family. I don't think that you should shelter them from your family. But I think that if you know that they have a certain demeanor about them and this family member has a certain demeanor about them and is going to clash, there's no reason for you to bring your person to an open barbecue where that person is going to intentionally clash with them.
That's
That
so
was
true.
me.
That's so true. Uh, yeah, meeting family. Yeah, y'all approach that with caution because it's just some people in your family or family that you need don't even bother me. Let me say that because you have
You
to.
can meet them after y'all married, like
Yeah, that part.
yeah,
Yeah,
on a win by. It's
yeah.
like a hey win by. It's just it's people in the family that you're not going to have a connection with, right? So what I find, and I'm saying from my dating, is like you meet all these family members, right? But you don't meet the important family members.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, I don't need to meet your third cousin down the line. For what? Like, no offense. When and where are me and your third cousin actually going to have a relationship that really matters?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the people who should be met are like, of course, your parents, if your parents are divorced, their new spouses, your siblings, things of that nature. Those are the people that you need to actually have in your top 10, you know what I'm saying? And then after you are in that top 10 and you've already established the dynamics of this person's family, the cousins and stuff come later. Like, that's not your intimate family. I think you should definitely meet the intimate family, but those extra cousins and stuff like that, I'm gonna say let them stay where they be at. Let them stay.
All right, let's move on to I believe it's our one, yeah. Number
Final?
5. No, it's number 5.
Okay.
Planning your life together. Signs that he or she wants to get married. Planning your life together. And this kind of go along with, our first bullet point, talking about your future together. And this one is basically planning your life together. So with that being said, watch out for people who are always talking about I and they never talking about us. Because at the end of the day, they gonna leave us for I. So you just have to be on guard. Make sure that when you are talking about certain conversations that's very vital to the relationship moving forward, that you guys are talking about together. And I'm telling you, and especially I'm learning too about just human behavior. We are selfish creatures. So sometimes people just unawarely or unintentional just talk about Al. They don't know how to include us. And most people have lived their life for I. So when you talk about us, that doesn't resonate with them. But and even me and my wife, we still like, we are still becoming one. I know the Bible says that two become one. Yeah, in that process of becoming, we're still learning how to dismantle the I so we can build up the us. And it's like just give you an example. My wife, she always be saying I'll be leaving her when I get out the car. So what I have to do, so what I have to do, I have to go back and get her and making sure that because down here we hold hands. And that's when our hashtag
you want to be loving? Come to
Come
the
south. So yeah, that's something that just an example I can give y'all. Like I'm being more conscious about me just getting out the car and just walking and just making sure my wife is okay and making sure that I'm just not worried about me. I want to make sure that she's comfortable enough to know her husband is concerned about her.
Thank you. I appreciate
with that being said, let me turn this over to the doctor. Why should we plan? Or let me just give you a question. Planning your life together, that's a sign. What's so important about that?
I'm confused. How could you possibly plan your life separately when you're together? How could you possibly do that? That's an arranged marriage or something. That's an arranged, like you guys just met at that moment. You never loved each other. You don't care. That's an arranged marriage. Like you're together. You're doing activities together. You're together. You're a couple. You're saying this person is my person. Like, it's very important for you to take away the I and start to equate the us. Like, it's very important. Or you guys are honestly just doing it for TV. There's no relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important though. A lot of people religiously date people without intentions on getting married.
Hmm.
And if that's your life, that's fine.
Some people don't want to get married,
Yeah.
and that okay, some people don't want to get married, right? And I'm gonna be very honest. At one point in my life, I said I don't want kids. I don't want to get married, right? But that was based off of um, poor parenting skills on one parent's end, right? As I started to blossom into myself, and as I started to change my desire, the desires that I desired, that I set out for, and replaced it with the us, right? So I took away the I for me and replaced it with the us, which is me in Jesus Christ. He allowed me to see the plan that he had for me and what the desire of my heart really was. And that was marriage and a family. So, I just feel like you really cannot sit here and say you're dating this person, you're in a relationship, this is my person. If I see somebody else out with them, if another guy's talking to her, if another girl's in his face, da da da, I'm a da da da. Like, you can't possibly feel all of this and you're still on I.
Okay.
And it's not ever a we. That makes no sense, because your heart grows to be in love with a person, so it's always we. Like, your mind shifts.
Okay.
Even when you're having a conversation, like, your mind shifts and it's me and him, me and her, we went such and such place. Like, it shifts. So if that's not shifting for you, that's not your person.
Amen. One of the things that I heard you say is that basically, just to sum it up, you, when you came into relationship with God, that's when you kind of incorporated a desire
Mm-hmm.
to marry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I thought that was just so wonderful to hear that, because you do have people that probably experience so much of trauma that marriage is just not in the equation anymore. Some people don't even date anymore, and my wife saying that she got delivered, and once she
Mm-hmm.
got delivered, then she was able to have start getting those desires back, where
Mm-hmm.
she desired marriage again. And I think and that's a lot of people that's in the world.
Mm-hmm.
People just have been damaged from previous relationships, previous marriages, previous engagements, and it's so important that you get the work that you need, do the self work, so you can be mentally uh, uh, have the mental capacity to be able to uh, get back in the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately be on that road to marriage. So
I'm
I
gonna
think
say
that's
this real quick, right? Your outcome is not your parents' outcome.
okay.
The divorce is not your divorce. The breakup is not your breakup. The single parent relationship is not your single parent relationship. So don't take on your parents' burdens or trauma, or whomever raised you, burdens and trauma, and convert it into yours when it was never meant to be attached to you. So that was my thing. Like, I seen a lot of divorce in my family. So I equated that and I took on that trauma. I seen a lot of, I'm gonna speak for me, right? Um, and let me always say this, I never want to speak bad about my birth mom whatsoever. Like, it just was growing pains, I'll have to say that. Like, she had me young, two people growing together, right? But the parenting skills was not there for me. I am totally 100% proud that it was there to a certain level for my brother and sister, but it was not there for me. So, what I received from that parent made me say, when I get older, I don't want to have kids because I don't want to be like, right? And what God was telling me, what He already placed in me was, you was never like, you came from, because I needed somebody to carry what I already created, but you was never like that.
Okay.
So whomever is watching this, you were never to be like that. You was to be greater from that. And was you supposed to have a testimony from that? Yes, but you were supposed to take that testimony, or supposed to take that testimony and the marriage and the motherhood, or the marriage and the fatherhood that you endure and you place into your home is supposed to be beyond greater. You break that generational adapting trauma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. I like your response, Doctor. And this just leads us into our next bullet point: frequently bringing up their parents' happy marriage, their happy marriage. If you're dating someone and they're always talking about how happy and how great and how awesome their parents' marriage is, that's a sign to you that they want to get married. So don't look over that. I mean, a lot of times this can even expand off to their friends, to their coworkers, and people that they're very close with, or even their grandparents. Someone who's always talking about, oh, I just love they married. They just look so good together.
That one couple.
Those are people that want to be married. If they're frequently bringing up the happiness of family members, people that they're close with, that's a sign to you that they want to be married for real. So don't disregard that. Have you witnessed that?
Have somebody speaking about, okay, I'm gonna say no. I think I, on the other spectrum, I did that with my grandparents.
Mhm.
I saw greatness and a great marriage within my grandparents, right? So I will always be like, "Oh, my grandfather does this, and my grandmother's like this,"
Yeah,
and I want to
you
be,
used to do
and my
that when I met you.
yeah, yeah, and I want to be like my grandmother because she was like that, and my grandmother took care of the house, and my grandmother was a broker, and my grandfather did that, and he used to just do this for the girls, and da 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 da. But that was the image that when I got placed with my grandparents, that they, when I want to say they tried their hardest and they succeeded to turn around the image that was placed in my head on the other spectrum, right? So I did that a lot, and that made me look at marriage and things just a little bit different when I saw that from them, right? Um, so yeah, I would say I did that, but I will also say that I'm experiencing that. So a lot of people do that with us. And I am super grateful that people look at our marriage and as young as it is, right? And say like they're just an amazing couple. They're just this great couple, right? And I just want people to understand this. When you see those type of couples, because we just talked about this in church, that's favor over their marriage.
Mhm.
That's a couple that was supposed to be placed together. Like they knew nothing of them being together or even wanting to be together, but that was a dynamic that God put together. Like that's the favor over their marriage. And we necessarily may not see it. We could have literally gotten an argument like 5 minutes before someone saw us, and they're like, "You guys are just the best couple," and they're like dreaming into our eyes, and it's the favor that they see. It's the a luminous favor of God over that marriage. So yeah.
So true, so true, so true. Yeah. Um,
But both people have to want, believe, love, and receive Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. It can't be one person.
Yeah, you said a mouthful. For
You,
y'all,
yeah.
who just joining in or just new to the channel, uh, we're Christians, so a lot of our content,
All of it.
yeah, let me rephrase that. All of our
Mm-hmm.
content is often used to glorify God, and off and secondly, is structured from a biblical point of view.
Yes.
So we just want to lay that out up front. If your way worked for you, go ahead on. But we talk about this way
Mm-hmm.
that worked for us, and I hope that you guys can just take something from this
Now we welcome
conversation.
everyone to
Yeah,
come on in.
yeah.
We welcome
Chime in.
everyone. Chime on
Feel
in.
free to
We're
like
not saying you
and
have to
comment.
be a Christian to watch us or to receive anything from us. Come on in, but just make sure the comment area is very respectful. My husband is not a blocker, but I am. So just make sure the comment area is very respectful of each other and you guys as a whole, because you guys we are one community. Like, you're not followers and all this extra stuff that people be saying. I don't know. It's one community. So just be respectful of each other and respectful of people's beliefs. You don't have to beat somebody down for their belief. You never know what stages they're in. So everybody just be respectful. And this is gonna sound a little left, but to the witches and warlocks that chime in, welcome. We receive you too, and we receive your change.
Come on, then.
You receive your change, your deliverance.
One of the things that I want to say is also, me and my wife, we put the work in. I often tell people,
yes,
if you put the work in, you'll get the outcome.
Things wasn't easy. Like,
yes, some people be wanting an outcome without the work. You got to.
They want a bippity boppity boo.
Yeah, you got to put the work in to get the outcome you want. Me and my wife, we've been married, 10 months now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 10 months now. And I've been knowing my wife, a little over 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we never went to bed mad. We literally never went to bed mad. And I'm not saying.
And sometimes my eyes be heavy.
Yeah, and I'm not saying
be
this
ready to go to sleep. Good night, but can't.
And I'm not saying this to boast or to brag. I'm just saying it have been times where me and my wife were upset at each other, and we would literally be up 2, 3 in the morning, and we'll get up out of our bed and we'll have a conversation, and
both of us got to be to work,
and we'll bring that peace back, and we go to sleep.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I love about me and my wife. We communicate pretty good if we upset. Now we have communication problems at times, but I'm particularly referring to when it's time to go to sleep and we got some on our chest. We don't go to sleep. We have talked it out. So with that being said, our last bullet point: haven't been engaged before. Oh, let me say this up front, because I think.
Let me ask you the question.
Okay.
Let me ask you. So now we're reversing this. Have you been engaged before? So, have you been engaged before? And how do you feel maneuvering through that, being engaged again?
Well, I've been engaged before. So that automatically lets you know there was a sign to me that I want to be married. And I love this bullet point, because you need to ask questions when when you're dating, because if the person haven't been engaged or haven't been in serious relationships for this amount of time, or a person relationship have short-term relationship, like individual never, he or she may never been dating
serious
relationships, relationships don't last 6 months,
or that person can be engaged right now as you're dealing with them, and you've never asked them, are they openly dating someone else or committed to someone else and committed to you? Because you could be dating somebody for a year and they wedding next week.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's about them questions.
Yeah.
Asking all them questions.
Yeah, you got to ask questions because that's the only way that you can get to know someone. People don't know your story unless you tell them. But back to your question,
Mm-hmm.
I have been engaged before,
Yes.
and leading up to my last engagement, like I knew I wanted to be married. So
Right.
those are desires that I had.
Yes.
I knew I wanted to be married one day. So us talking about being married, that wasn't a challenging or a difficult conversation
Mm-hmm.
because that's something that I desire. Now, y'all in particular may meet someone that may not have my same resume. They may not have been engaged before. They may not have been in long-term relationships, but you need to evaluate certain topics that ultimately you might can do an assessment on the person to see if he or she may be, this may be something that you want. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the proof is always in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
If you're dating people that have short-term relationships,
Mm-hmm.
you're dating people that never been married. Of course, they may not never have desire to get married. They may have a desire to date, but not get married. So you guys have to be careful with that. So it's so important.
Yes.
It's so important to have those conversations and to know someone's dating
Mm-hmm.
background. You know, how long have you dated?
Mm-hmm.
What's the length of time? You know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to go
What
into all the
happened?
details. But yeah, you should gather. Let me say this: you should gather enough data to know if he or she uh, or if it's a sign that this person actually wants to get married, even if they're telling you they want to get married, you need to go back.
Make sure they telling the truth.
Yeah, you need to go back and look at some of their previous behavior
Mm-hmm.
in order for you to make a accurate assessment on this
Yes.
particular sign.
Now, I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound left, right? But I'm going to tell you from my standpoint. In the time period where I said I don't want to be married, all of those things, right? I would not keep a steady job. Meaning, I will be on a job and there will be nothing. There will be nothing wrong. Like I will do the job like on point. They would love me. They will want to promote me. All of these things, right? Rapidly. And this is like most of the jobs I've been on. But I would be like, oh, I'm bored, and just go find another job. And it would be totally different than what I was doing prior to. Mm-hmm. I never had a desire to commit to something. Okay. And every relationship that I was in, I would basically transfer that behavior. So when dating, I feel like yes, you ask the questions, oh, the relationship, have you ever dated somebody else? How long have you been? What happened? Da 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 da. But also, oh, you work at Chase Bank. How long have you worked there? Was this your only job? Like, let me tell you, one time, and this is real story. One time we was in a store, we was making a big purchase, right, together, and they was asking us like our work history, just things about us, and they asked him his work history, and he said the job that he worked at, and it was like, well, how long you worked there? And he was like 5 years. And I turned with amazement and I was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, what? I was like, you worked there for 5 years? Like, you're really dedicated and committed to this job. I was like, dang, I wish I was like that. Right. And then he was like, well, you're at this job that you're at now for a long period of time. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But the longest period of time of a job that I've had was when I was doing makeup, and I always left and came back. Like I never stayed put, if that makes any sense. So I think that asking that question is like important too. Like, can you commit to anything? Like anything whatsoever. A pet, a job, like volunteer work.
Mhm.
Like, do you like you have a favorite food? Do you, when you go out to eat, do you commit to these chicken wings and these French fries? Like,
Mhm.
do you commit to anything in your life whatsoever to understand that this person will commit to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys can build to a commitment. If the person is just fly by nights with everything else in their life, my grandmother used to always say the way you do one thing in one area will always transfer over into other areas of your life
That's so true.
unknowingly.
Yeah, that's so true. That's why I always use the words like assessment or evaluate. And you really have to be detailed because, like I say, a lot of times you can see certain behaviors, certain attributes, certain inconsistencies in a person like that immediately let you know this person they got they got a lot of inconsistent going on. You know, this person right here, they got a lot of. There's a period in their life where it was just up and down, and you can take you can ask certain questions like, how long you been on your job, or how long have you been in this particular career, uh, and how long have you hold the job. You can go
Mm-hmm.
into other areas and get enough information to allow you to accurately have let me say, have a resume, get a resume on a particular person and see, you know, how let me say, fashionable is their life, and do they got some consistent things that they do, and this can really uh, triple down to a lot of areas of their life. So be careful, pay attention, keep your antennas up, don't get caught up in looks because looks fade. Don't get caught up in lust because lust is temporary, but get caught up in the love because love continues. It never fades out.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are in the dating field and you are looking to marry, make sure that you are paying attention to signs, uh, paying attention to behavior,
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to how uh, their mannerism, and
Mm-hmm.
how they are just how they treat people. All this stuff
Mm-hmm.
is very significant and so important when you're actually dating to marry. Uh, but we thank you all for joining in on this live.
Yes.
Well, actually, it's not a live, but thank you all for joining this previous recorded.
Yes.
So we always want to let you guys know that as well. But thank you for these signs that he or she
Yes.
wants to be married. And we'll catch you all, I don't know, maybe soon.
Well, we are in the process of relocating our studio look, everything of that nature. So we are going to try to do as much videos as we possibly can in the process of moving. But if you do not see a current video from us after today, do not worry. We will be back in October.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to, all this is
But
coming down.
in the meantime, you can follow our personal pages if you want to follow our personal pages and check out some content there.
Yeah, we'll leave all that in the description.
Yeah.
And also too, we're gonna be coming with a new look.
Yeah.
So,
and you guys can come up with some topics and some ideas. You can shoot some questions to us. So if you don't hear from us until October, we have something to go back on, and we can have an open conversation about things and maybe do some lives. We want you guys to be interactive with us and just participate with us. Like, let's bounce some stuff off.
all right. So with that being said, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel so you all can get the latest
notification
that we do right here on this channel. Thank you all for joining in. This is Tatum University. It is a love story. God bless you all and have a wonderful, wonderful
good night.